Hey there, folks. Well, now that my Carcassonne set is all finished and everything is printed out, all's done except for the painting, which Lord knows how long that's going to take. We're now working on my next project, the awful green things from outer space. I actually have this version of it somewhere. It's packed in a box upstairs in my game room somewhere. I have the old TSR copy here, which I dearly love. It has a wonderful map for it. In addition, in another box upstairs as well, I have the Dragon magazine that has the version you see here, the one that back when Dragon had would include little games on the inside, and it was usually in the centerfold. You'd pop out the staples, pull the game out, cut the counters out of the pages, and you'd have a complete game there. I have the Dragon version of it somewhere, once again, in a Ziploc bag in a box somewhere upstairs as well. So, having done that, this is one of the games that I played a lot of back in college, back with BattleTech and Car Wars and Aliens. You've all heard me talk about that. And it's one of the games that people have a certain fondness for and they love to bling out. If you go to Board Game Geek, you'll see a lot of different versions that people have done. They have made the green things and the crew out of Fimo. They have used Milliput to make them. And some of them have done 3D printing and have uploaded the files for it. The set in particular that I'm thinking of, and the one that I'm busy printing, is the set by Frank Strauss. He has got STS files for everything in the game. It's the crew, the monsters, the little weapons, the weapon effects chits, the 3 spaceships, the little boats that fit inside the big spaceship, the Znutar. He's got files for all of those, and those are the ones that I'm busy printing out right now. I wish these files are available if you got a 3D printer. The STS files for them are available in the files section of the Awful Green Things from Outer Space entry over on Board Game Geek. I wish he had them on Thingiverse or My Mini Factory or Cults or something like that so you could actually pay the guy for it. Because he did a good job. It's worth throwing a few bucks his way, you know. I love paying artists for the work they do. So that's the group that I'm printing right now. And of course, with them being a larger size, you need a larger version of the Znutar. And people have done some creative 3D copies of the Znutar as well to match the aesthetics of whatever particular group of models it is they're doing. One guy's even used Playmobil models and built a Znutar that fit along with his Playmobil models to represent the crew and the monsters. But that is a future project. Right now, we're just working through the aliens and the crew themselves. So let's take a look at how it's been going on. And here we have the awful green things themselves. These are the adults. There's 12 adults in the game, so I was printing them all at the same time here. They are about 2/3 of the way. Let's see how we're at it. 85%. 85%, and as you see, it's been going for 12 hours and 25 minutes. This was about a 15-hour print right here to get all 12 of the adult awful green things printed. And that's what I started whenever I was taking a break from the sub. You see the parts from the sub over there. The 3D sub I'm printing for the U-boat game. I'm taking, like I said, took a break from doing all the gray plastic all the time to get kind of colorful. So we will catch back up with the awful green things here a little bit later in the process. And here are the green things all done. We've got the 12 adults and all the other sections of the life form. You've got the fragments here that can happen when weapons blow them apart. You've got the eggs. You've got the larvae, or the babies there. And also, while I had the lime green in the printer, I went ahead and printed the 3 acid bottles as well. So that is the entire collection of the lime green out of the way. I made another color shift, and we started painting the red redundants. 3-eyed, 3-legged, 3-armed redundants. And here you see they're got the raft, and it's printing, working on the early stages of the bases here, just a little bit into the build process. You'll notice things have changed a little bit around my printer here as well. is kind of silvery and almost like an oven here on the inside, especially with my head stuck in. And that's because I've got an enclosure. This is a Creality enclosure that goes around it. It's aluminized canvas and a zipper on the front. It has a window you can look in, and basically it keeps the heat inside for stuff like ABS that you have to have a controlled temperature. But mostly I got it for the danger of thermal runaway. You know, if something were to happen with the thermistor and the hot end there just get hotter and hotter and hotter and start going 400, 500 degrees, well, this right here is flame resistant and will just melt. Instead of catching fire, it'll just melt down over the printer and keep it from flaring up into a house fire type situation. Another filament change as we are about halfway through, it looks, printing the orange Snudalians. Yep, 4 hours and 8 minutes into the print, 57%. This was about a 7.5, 8 hour print. You see the roll of Hatchbox orange up there and the filament coming down and being extruded. And more lined up. There's a gray down, silver down there for the ships. There's some more blue and another color of green that will be making their debuts very shortly here. And 6 hours, 23 minutes, and 13 seconds later, the Snudalians are done. They just need to be popped off of the surface and then have their supports and all cleaned away. And we move on to the blue that you saw on the floor there earlier. 2 hours and 56 minutes, 42% of the way done. Another about 6.5 hour or so print as we're printing the blue Frotham? I think the blue or the Frotham, if I remember correct. Yes, or the From. The blue From, one or the other. And we're getting them printed up so that they will be able to join the rest of the members of the crew, which include the Green Snudalians here. There are Green Snudalians and there are Yellow Snudalians that you see in the back there. I do have to admit that the print wasn't all sunshine and roses. As you can see here, when I broke off the Snudalians, you'll see there are these grooves and lines where it did not print very well. That's called under extrusion. It can be caused by clogs. That one's particularly bad. Under extruded so far the head's falling off. It can be caused by clogs. It can be caused by poor temperature control. I tried jacking up the temperature, and this one just came out like sponge. As you see, you can see the entire internal structure of it. That's what basically the support structure that's on the inside of all those figures. But yeah, it was a mess. So I tried a couple of things. I printed what's called a temperature towers. You see it prints everything from 220 degrees all the way up to 190 degrees. And it looks for stringing and droops and sagging and areas where it's not extruding. And it did fine. It printed the temperature tower here perfect. So I thought, well, you know, maybe it's the bad filament. So I put the blue back in and we printed a blue Sarge, and blue Sarge came out wonderful there. So you see, he looks great. So I thought I'd give it another try. I put it back in, and this time it printed them all fine. That one's perfect. It just needs to be, you know, scraped. It needs to have the little bits where the supports were filed off of it. But after that, it printed the 3 Snudalians, the green ones, fine. So they have joined the rest of the crew there and are ready to go out on adventures. So as you see, not everything always works out perfectly fine. And with the Green Snudalians, that is the entire bunch of the Awful Green Things print. As you see, I've got the various weapons. We've got the ook suit. I've started painting some of the bases now. The crew members are going to be white bases, just like on the counters, and the Awful Green Things will have yellow bases. And the items will be blue. And in addition, I've also started laying down a test base coat for the green for the fields on my Carcassonne tiles, as you see. They are getting the first base coat of green, and what a pile of Carcassonne tiles it is over there as well. So that is the Awful Green Things print. It was a fun print. Took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to do. Just running them at work and all that. And next time I see y'all, we'll be working on the ship, the Znootar.